Hey there, everybody, and welcome back to Utility Sports. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the Buffalo Bills and doing a single-team mock draft here for the Buffalo Bills. We're going to be focusing in the first 4 rounds here. This is something that was requested by one of our newest and best subscribers, JerJerX. So if you guys have a specific team you would like to see, make sure to comment that down below. We also have a Trevor Lawrence jersey giveaway going on. It is a black Trevor Lawrence Jacksonville Jaguars jersey. All you have to do to be entered in that giveaway is leave a like on today's video, be subscribed to the channel here at Utility Sports, and leave a comment on today's video. You guys can be entered more than one time as well, so comment whatever you'd like, and let's jump into the Bills mock draft here for JerJerX. Like I said, we are going to be doing 4 rounds, and the big thing to focus here in round 1 for me is going to be that linebacker position. They need to specifically grab a linebacker to replace Matt Milano, who I think that they are going to lose in free agency this offseason. That is seeming like the most likely scenario moving forward here. We see the board kind of playing out as we would expect here. Rashawn Slater actually fell to 19 in this. I would be very surprised if that does happen on draft day. But now we are at pick 30 here. Najee Harris and Travis Etienne are falling. Xavin Collins is also still on the board, as well as Nick Bolton. Nick Bolton goes one pick right before us. Okay, so now at this point, I'm looking at what we've got and how we're going to go about filling in this team. So the thing that's interesting to me here, running back, a very big need for the Buffalo Bills. However, I don't really see them addressing it in round 1, especially with Brian Daboll staying as their offensive coordinator. He likes to air it out. He likes putting the ball in Josh Allen's hand. We saw that in the playoffs. I believe the first game of the playoffs, he had 1 rush attempt in the whole first half of the game against the Indianapolis Colts. He just doesn't like to put the ball on the ground as much. Now, is that partially because they have Devin Singletary and Zach Moss as their running back committee? Possibly. Maybe he would be a little bit more quick to run the football if they had someone as dynamic as Najee Harris or Travis Etienne. Etienne just ran a 4.440 today. That is much quicker than I expected. I thought he was going to be about a 4.46, 4.47 kind of guy. Ran a 4.4 flat. That is very impressive there from Travis Etienne. But I think the linebacker position is the biggest need. They need someone who's going to be able to play in that 3-4 next to Tremaine Edmonds. They need someone who's going to be a solid interior linebacker, and that's going to be Xavin Collins here out of Tulsa. He also has some pass rush ability. He's been a big piece there for Tulsa. He's been a real reason on why they've exceeded at the level that they did this year in college football. For those of you who don't know, he ended up getting them to be a ranked team nationally. That is something we haven't seen for a long time there in Tulsa. And we actually see the running backs here still falling. Najee Harris has not gone in the top 50. There he goes now at 49. Etienne follows him right up. So we have a little bit of the run on running backs, which is an interesting thing for me. Javonte Williams is still here on the clock. And Jabril Cox is here as well. Now, if we didn't grab Xavin Collins in round 1, I would have loved to grab Jabril Cox here in round 2. But we've already addressed that linebacker position. I think that that is pretty solid. Now we could look at offensive tackle possibly. I think that that is a pretty big need for this team. Grabbing one more to be a guy who could either fill in at left tackle or right tackle, but it's already thinned out quite a bit at this point of the draft. That position is going to go pretty early on in the second round, and then at that point there's a little bit of a drop-off until about the back end of round 3, in my opinion. So at this point at 61, I don't really see that as a great selection. I am leaning towards Javonte Williams at this point. I think the interior defensive line is fine. I do really like Jay Tufele. I just don't think he's necessarily as big of a need here in Buffalo at this point, especially with Ed Oliver being there. I also think that another cornerback could be a pretty good addition as well as an edge, but I think the edge position's a little thinned out here. I don't think that this is a round 2 selection for where the Bills will be picking at 61. Cornerback, Ifeatu Melifonwu is interesting to me. I think Shaun Wade could have a little bit of value in the slot. But again, these feel just a little bit like reaches to me. So at this point, I'm actually going to opt for Javonte Williams. He's more of a natural runner than these other guys. I also think Kenneth Gainwell would be a legit option for the Buffalo Bills. He is the best pass-catching back in this class. I think he would be a great option in Buffalo. But I think Javonte Williams gives them a little bit more of what they don't have. He's a small, compact runner, kind of similar to what they do have in terms of the physicality. But I think he's a better natural runner of the football than Singletary or Moss. I think he's going to be a real option for them, for Brian Daboll to maybe run the football a little bit more, try and get a little bit more out of that offense in that regard. Now, the thing is here, Kenneth Gainwell did fall to us here at 93. That would have been interesting. There's a few different scenarios where I could see the Buffalo Bills looking in a few different directions because they have so much versatility here. Round 1, we grabbed the linebacker, but remember, Jabril Cox was there in round 2 for us. I would have been very comfortable with him. Maybe they could have gone running back round 1, Jabril Cox round 2. Maybe they could have gone corner round 1, Jabril Cox round 2. They have so much versatility. That's the nice thing about being such a quality team like the Buffalo Bills are. They had such a good year last year. They're going to have another great year this year. Stephon Diggs, Josh Allen are one of the best young combinations in the NFL on the offensive side of the football. They've got a lot to build off of. And I think that there's a lot of opportunity for this team to continue improving. One position I do want to look at is tight end. Dawson Knox, I think he's a quality tight end. I think that they could have improved with a guy like Brevin Jordan. He's already off the board at this point, though. And here now at this point, I don't think that there's a tight end that's really going to be a true improvement for them. Hunter Long out of Boston College, he's interesting, but I don't really see him as a great fit. The tackle position's a little thinned out as well. Like I mentioned, it kind of does thin out after the back end of the second round. And cornerback, this is where I'm really going to be looking. Trill Williams is here, Syracuse. Benjamin St. Juste, a U of M product. I think he's a quality cornerback in this class as well. But I'm actually going to opt for Israel Mukuamu, the South Carolina Gamecock. He comes in here. He has a real chance to be an outside cornerback in the NFL. And I think he'd be a really good fit in Buffalo. They just extended their safety, Micah Hyde. And they're going to be set in that secondary for a while. Adding one more guy in here into the mix, I think, is a good addition for them at this point. They need to really keep that secondary intact. They've prioritized that up to this point. Poyer and Micah Hyde are going to be around for a few more years. It's all about finding that secondary corner across from Tre'Davious White, especially when you have to compete with a team like the Kansas City Chiefs. Looking at who we've selected this year, Xavin Collins, he's going to help us against the Chiefs in that matchup against a guy like Travis Kelce. Javonte Williams, he's going to be a big improvement to the run game there in Buffalo. And Israel Mukuamu, he's a solid number 2 cornerback. He's going to give us a lot of versatility as well. And playing against the Kansas City Chiefs, who's really going to be the team that they have to jump over, they're going to have to be aggressive and trying to figure out ways to slow them down. Mukuamu comes and gives them another cornerback threat. You probably see Tre'Davious White shadowing and mirroring Tyreek Hill, but Israel Mukuamu comes in. He can be another guy to help out against that Andy Reid offense. He's going to be a big piece there in Buffalo. I think that these 3 picks would go a long way in helping the Buffalo Bills really move forward. I wouldn't also be surprised to see the Bills trade out of day 1 when it comes to the real NFL draft. Maybe try and pick up a few other assets as well. They don't have their 4th round pick, obviously. They need to look into some ways of improving this football team and getting some more depth. They're going to really miss Matt Milano. So look for them to be aggressive at the linebacker position, the cornerback position, and see if they can maybe find a quality running back that they like, whether that's Javonte Williams, Travis Etienne, or maybe even a guy like Kenneth Gainwell out of Memphis, the pass-catching back, who I think is a legit receiver, could even play out of the slot in the NFL, in my opinion. But he's going to be a great receiving back in the NFL. Look for the Bills to look at these 3 positions exclusively, maybe find a tackle if one falls to them at pick 30. However, I think that this is a good starting point for the Buffalo Bills. We'll see what they do in free agency. If you guys did enjoy today's video, make sure to leave a thumbs up on the video. And also, thanks guys so much for all the support. We're over 2,000 subscribers. You guys have been absolutely killing it lately. Thanks so much, and we'll catch you guys in the very next video.